Remember, please get your parents' consent before attempting any activity.
Hey y'all, this is Miss Ross, the Activity Boss. Today we're doing a science experiment, and we're going to do a little bit of chemistry magic and actually turn a regular, hard, raw egg into a bouncy ball. So I'm going to show you how you can do that and do it easily at home. So today we're going to talk about chemical changes, and a chemical change is when one substance changes into one or more different substances, so a new substance is actually formed. And there are a few telltale signs that let you know that a chemical change actually occurred. So there are 5 different common examples. So one is color change, the second is an odor, third is a change in temperature, fourth is bubbles, so a gas was formed, and fifth is a solid is formed. And there's actually a fancy science word for that called a precipitate. So that's when a solid is formed during a chemical reaction. So the only thing that you need for this experiment is vinegar and a jar or glass, and then an egg. So what I'm gonna do is take some vinegar and pour it into this glass. And then I'm gonna take this egg, and so you can see it's just like a normal hard egg, and put it into the glass. And you wanna be careful when you're dropping it in that you don't break the egg. So just drop it in gently. And you just need enough vinegar that's completely submerged. And so you wanna leave it in there for at least 1 day. You probably wanna do it for 2 to 3 days. And so I did a couple different things. So this egg, obviously I just dropped in here. It's been in here for about a minute. This egg has been in here for about 3 days. And then this egg has been in here for over 2 weeks. So what I did here is that I created a variable. And a variable is anything in an experiment that can be controlled, measured, or changed. My independent variable is time, because I've had this one in here for 1 minute, this one for 3 days, and this one in vinegar for 2 weeks. And so I'm gonna show you in this one, you can see that there are actually some bubbles around the egg. And so like I said earlier, remember that bubbles are evidence that a chemical change is occurring because a gas has been formed. And they're around the edges, some little like spots too that you can see where kind of a solid is forming. And you can see on the egg that it's like slowly losing its shell too. I can actually scrape some of the shell right off of it. And so this one's interesting because it doesn't have any bubbles anymore or anything. So the chemical reaction has just completely stopped. So once you've waited 2 or 3 days, or if you want to wait even longer like I did, you take your egg out of the jar and then you're just going to place it in some water and kind of wash it off. And you'll feel that there's kind of like a little bit of a membrane on there. So the shell has been completely dissolved off of the egg by the vinegar. And you can see too, you can kind of see the yolk through it, like the egg's a bit translucent. I'm gonna just dry it off. And then I'm gonna try and bounce it. So you don't wanna start by like dropping it from right here because it will break. But if you bounce it from like this high, you can see that you can bounce it. And if you did that with a normal egg, it would just splatter immediately. So a chemical change occurred and the properties of the egg are totally different. So the ordinary hard white shell of the egg, like when you get an egg right out of the carton, out of your fridge, it's made up of calcium carbonate. And that's actually found in our bones as well, and it's part of what makes the eggshell hard. So when we had the egg in vinegar, the vinegar was breaking down the calcium carbonate of the shell, and we could see that because of all the bubbles that were formed. And now we can see it because the egg's completely gone. And you may also notice between this egg and this egg that this egg is a lot bigger. And so that's happening because there's also water in vinegar. And in an effort to balance the amount of water that's in the vinegar and inside the egg, some of the water in the vinegar traveled inside of the eggshell. And that process is called osmosis. And so that's what's made the egg a little bit bigger. So there's a lot of cool chemistry going on here. If you guys do this experiment, you can post pictures of your activity on social media and tag us at BGCSouthal and the hashtag BGCSouthal. See you next time.